Pokémon Origins.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Pokémon Origins. Today we're looking at the bird Pokémon from the Kalos region, Fletchling, Fletchinder and Talonflame. So let's get this started. So first up, Fletchling. Its Japanese name is Yayakoma and it is number 661 in the National Dex. It is the tiny Robin Pokémon and is a normal flying type. Fletchling is 0.3 meters or 1 foot tall and weighs 1.7 kilograms or 3.7 pounds. Now Fletchling are small birds similar to robins in their design, and they have a reddish orange head with black eyes with yellow markings. They also have a grey bluish underbody sort of thing and wings with little white tips on the end of their wings. They have a black tail with white stripe on it and also black feet with a black beak. As I sort of mentioned just now, Fletchling are based on robins, more specifically a Japanese robin, because as you can see in the picture here, its head is orange, its underside is sort of grey bluey colour, and yeah, so obviously because Pokemon is a Japanese game, that's sort of where it comes from. This is a bit easier to tell, isn't it? Okay then, so there are no gender differences between Fletchling, and shiny Fletchling have an orange body and orange wings with a dark red tail and also sort of darker red feet as well, and also have the little tips on their wings that were white and now golden, so it's pretty cool. And Pokédex entries tell us that Fletchling are merciless to intruders of their territory, and also that they send signals to each other by chirping and also by tail movements, so it's a very sweet Pokemon, I guess you could call it. So the Japanese name Yayakoma comes from a combination of Ya meaning arrow, Yayako meaning baby, and Komadori, which is a word for the Japanese robin. The English name Fletchling comes from sort of just a mashup of Fletchling, Fledgling and Hatchling, all sort of, you know, referring to smallish birds and, you know, baby birds, etc. If we take a quick look at Fletchling's sort of models from Generation 6 here, we can see that that's its models there, yeah. This is the model from Pokemon Me, remember, so that's sort of the front on thing you get. You can see it's a very sort of a sizely Pokemon, not necessarily in overall size, but sort of in itself. 2 little feet. You can actually see its back claw is sort of hidden behind its front 2 claws there, and you can see its tail just sort of popping up behind its head and the back. And then moving on to size here, we can see that Fletchling, being, you know, just a small bird Pokemon, it's quite small compared to myself and Ash. You can obviously see it, it's not as small as some birds you see in real life, but it's pretty small nonetheless. So if we then move on to Fletchling's evolution, Fletchinder, or Hinoyakoma, its Japanese name. It is number 662 in the National Dex, and is the Ember Pokemon, and is now a Fire Flying type. So I think this is I think if I remember rightly this time, this is the first sort of bird Pokemon from, you know, the basic bird Pokemon to actually evolve into something other than normal flying. They actually evolve into Fire Flying types, which is quite interesting. Fletchinder are 0.7 meters or 2 foot 4 inches tall, and weigh 16 kilograms or 35.3 pounds. A Fletchling will evolve into a Fletchinder starting at level 17. Now Fletchinder are primarily orange and black birds, and they have a grey underside, similar to obviously Fletchling. They have a sharp black beak and also black eyes, and have yellow eye markings, as you can see coming off the back of their eyes, so sort of building on Fletchling's eye markings there. They have black wings with yellow tips on them, and a black tail with 2 white stripes on, and also the tail sort of like 2 main bits, and then 2 little tufts of sort of fur coming off the bottom of them. And as we'll sort of build on in a second, that actually sort of resembles a arrow tip, or not arrow tip, it's the opposite end of arrow, the arrow fletch, I guess it's called, I'm not quite sure. The feathery bit on the arrow, you guys know what I mean. It has black legs with 3 clawed feet as well. So like Fletchling, it's based on Japanese Robin, however its typing, which is now Fire Flying, may also suggest basis on the Flame Robin, which is a species of robin from Australia. So as you can see in the picture here, the Flame Robin sort of has a switched sort of colouring, you know, it's got grey on its head and orange on its belly, you know, breast, that's what's called, isn't it? So it's sort of switched over, but obviously the name Flame Robin does have, you know, some effect there, I guess. So like Fletchling, there are no gender differences between you know, Fletchinder and such, because that's how it works, isn't it? And shiny Fletchinder have a darker orange colour sort of body there, with a cream underside and also sort of red on their wings and sort of slightly darker coloured wings as well. So it's sort of many changes happen here, and also its sort of tail and its claws become you know, a darker red colour as well. Pokédex entries also tell us that it has a flame sac on its belly, as most fire-type Pokemon do, and that the hotter this sac gets, the faster that Fletchinder can fly. So, you know, it's probably using the firepower to sort of fly around, I guess, would be something like that. Looking at its names quickly, the Japanese name Hino Yakoma comes from a combination of Hinoko, meaning sparks, which is sort of referring to like fire sparks, you know, sparks like that, because it's the M Pokemon. Ya, again meaning arrow, again sort of referring to the arrow sort of tail-like thing. And Komodori, which is again a word for Japanese robin. The English name Fletchinder comes from a combination of Fletchling and Cinder, Cinder being again sort of like burnt remains, or something to that effect. I mean, yeah, it's building on the fire typing pretty much. Again, looking at the models from Generation 6, you can see here the facial remarks are slightly different because it's facing different directions, but it's pretty similar. And you can see here it looks pretty cool. The sprites are completely changed, the colouring at least. Whereas in older generations you might get, you know, one or two colours change maybe, and a couple stay the same. Now everything is changing, you know. Almost everything is a different shade. So you can really see how awesome the shiny Pokemon really are in these games, to be honest. And then checking out the size of Fletchinder when compared to obviously its pre-evolution and myself and Ash, you can see it's more than doubled in size here. And it still doesn't, you know, it's not huge, but it's a pretty big bird, to be honest. So you wouldn't particularly want to, you know, run around with it chasing you, because that wouldn't be a fun thing to do at all. So then finally moving on to the last Pokemon for today, Talonflame. Its Japanese name is Fiaro, and it is number 663 in the National Dex, and is the Scorching Pokemon, and again, like Fletchinder, is a fire flying type. It is 1.2 meters or 3 foot 11 inches tall, and weighs 24.5 kilograms or 54 pounds. A Fletchinder will evolve into a Talonflame starting at level 35. So, Talonflame are a sort of a falcon-like bird Pokemon, sort of moving away from the robins here, and they're primarily red, black and grey. They have a red upper body and wings, and black ends on, you know, the end of their wings, I guess, with some sort of flame pattern there, which looks pretty cool. They have a grey underside with red spots all over them, same as under the wing as well, and they have a black tail with yellow stripes on them. There are now 3 yellow stripes, so we had 1 on Fletchling, 2 on Fletchinder, and now 3, and now they've turned yellow, which are pretty cool. And they also have a black beak with a yellow marking on there, as you can see, and a black and yellow eye markings too, because they're sort of building from what Fletchinder had as well. They then have yellow feet with black claws on the end of them. You can also see some sort of, I guess, sort of like a quiff on the top of its head, or, you know, a spike that comes off the top of its head. Sort of like, I guess, a parrot would be the only thing I could compare it to off the top of my head there. So, as I mentioned just now, it's not based so much on robins anymore because, you know, it's a bigger Pokemon, so it's hard to base it on robins. So that mostly resembles the peregrine falcon, which is obviously a breed of falcon there. It does have, you know, shares a lot of characteristics with it, so you can see definitely why we would think it would be based off of that. So, like its pre-evolutions, there are no gender differences between Talonflame and Talonflame's shiny form, sort of building on what its pre-evolutions have. It's a darker orange colour on the body and the tail and the claws and the wings and stuff like that, and also has an orange cream underside rather than the grey underside. And the Pokédex entries tell us that it can reach speeds of up to 310 miles per hour or 500 kilometers an hour, so it's certainly a fast flying bird. And also that it finishes off prey with a colossal kick, so you can see it uses its claws more than most birds, I guess. Well, birds use their claws a lot, but for, you know, offensive role rather than just sort of picking up the prey. The Japanese name Fiaro is a simple combination of fire and arrow, Fiaro. And then the English name Talonflame is it's even more simple than Fiaro, it's just Talon and Flame stuck together, so very simple names here. Looking again at the models from Generation 6, we can see here again, when it's a me, you can just really see front of its body, some of its tail feathers coming out the back as well, its wings are tucked behind it, so you can certainly see its tail is very splaying, you know, it does come out behind it quite a bit. And you can see just how menacing its claws are on its feet as well, so you can certainly see how that colossal kick that was described in the Pokédex entries will be quite harmful to a member of its prey. So again, finally looking at these sort of sizes here. Now, the thing with birds is, I think it's supposed to be measured by wingspan. However, it's very hard for me to do wingspan, especially in the Pokemon and Me stuff. So I've just basically done it as height, because I'm assuming wingspan is the same as height. And if we did wingspan, if we say the wingspan was bigger than Talonflame's height from feet or claw to, you know, top of its head, then it would be about half the size it is there. So I think, you know, it is in height in this case, because otherwise Talonflame is going to be tiny and that thing just won't make any sense. Same with Fletchling and Fletchinder. So yeah, that's the size there. Okay guys, so I think that's going to be it for this episode of Pokemon Origins. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next time for some more Pokemon Origins-ness. I'll be doing Scatterbug, Spupa and Vivillon next time. So I'm just going to put it out there. If any of you can offer me Vivillon forms that are particularly rare, I got the most common ones like, you know, Garden form and stuff like that, but any rare forms that are hard to get and you can let me borrow them maybe just to get the images for the actual episode, I'd be very grateful there. So if you could please do that, just hit me up on Twitter if you can. There'll be a link in the description to my Twitter, or if you really need to, on YouTube private messages. I don't check them too often, but I'll try to look at them every now and again. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time, goodbye.